This is a report from the USA, not from here in the UK, but I thought it showed the kind of contempt that police show for people in general across the world, and thought I would share it with you here. Be warned, this report could upset some of you as it has a video which isn't graphic but does show a man receiving life-changing injuries. 36-year-old Richard Cox was arrested in Connecticut on June the 19th for possession of an illegal firearm. Now, I know some of you will say, well, we shouldn't have had an illegal firearm, but as long as it wasn't being used to cause unwarranted fear or injury or death to somebody, then I don't really see that that's much of an issue. After all, everyone has the right to defend themselves in the USA, and it's one of the places you can arm yourself for self-defence. Anyway, Cox was arrested and put into the back of a police transport van whilst he was handcuffed behind his back. A van that reports say did not have seatbelts, although in the video footage it seems to show differently. The footage which I'm about to show you shows Cox sitting in the back of the van, kicking at the wall of the van when suddenly he is flung forward by some sharp braking, hitting his head on the dividing metal plate between the driving compartment and the rest of the van. The remainder of his journey sees Cox laying on the floor of the van calling for help. The police officer driving does stop to check on him and then calls for an ambulance to meet them at their destination. However, once he gets to the New Haven Police Department, there doesn't appear to be any sign of medical professionals, and several police are seen on body cam dragging Cox out of the van as he can't move himself, and then trying to get him to stand up on his own, which he couldn't do. The police are heard commenting that it's because he's drunk too much. One of the officers goes to get a wheelchair, at which point Cox tells them that he can't feel shit, but the cops, seemingly not that concerned, then tell him to sit up, but has to be held upright by the cop pushing the wheelchair. While they process Cox, he is left slumped in the wheelchair where he is questioned about what else he has taken, as in drink or drugs, and still no medical professional is on the scene. Once Cox had been processed, several police grab him and drag him into a holding cell, where one cop is heard saying he's perfectly fine before cuffing his ankles together, even though he has shown no sign of any aggression towards any of them. In fact, he couldn't show any sign of anything because Richard Cox was, at that point, left paralysed from the moment he hit his head in the back of the police van. Here's the video.
All right, my man, step in there.
All right.
All right, step right in there.
Got it? One leg at a time.
One leg at a
Watch
time.
your head.
Watch your head, all right? I'm stopping. I'm going to check you out. What happened? What? You fell.
Yeah,
What happened? Can you move at all?
I can't move.
What? How your leg is all the way up there?
Understand me, listen, brother.
All right, I can't move you, so I have to hold on. I'm going to have to go get an ambulance.
Listen, no.
Huh?
Yes, but understand.
Go ahead.
I fall. I cannot move my arms.
All right, do not move. I can see moving your arm.
No.
Okay.
Look at my hand.
All right, hold on.
Help.
171.
171.
Can you start a signal 1? The subject in the van, he said he fell inside the van and he can't move. So I'm on my way to detention right now. So please, could you start me signal 1 over there?
Cox, either we can move you or you can wait till AR1 moves you.
Listen, I cannot move.
Slide down, my man.
No, Jay.
Yo, slide down so we can get out of here.
Look, if you gotta drag me, go start over.
All right.
Fuck what I like, I'll let me relax for a bit.
All right, there you
Now,
go.
you're almost there. You're almost there. You gotta get your shoulders out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Stand up. There we go.
Get up.
Now, how you making out? Ready? Actually, go over here.
Get the...
Huh?
cracking. You just drink too much. No, you drink too much.
Okay.
Sit up.
We will pick you up.
I can't feel shit, bro.
Sit up.
Stop playing around.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, sit up. You're doing extra shit. Sit up. Sit up. What else did you have? Did you have any drugs and alcohol?
Listen, no.
You're not fine. How many did you? Okay. How much did you have to drink?
Oh, see.
Oh my God, yeah, fucking broke my heart.
Oh, with a kiss. Huh? Okay. He's perfectly fine. You want to put these on him? Yep. Hold on now. Hold on now.
Alright.
Cox attorney Ben Crump said he's paralysed from the chest down. He has to use a breathing tube. His quality of life is forever diminished. They dismissed his pleas as lies instead of offering immediate medical aid. Officers dragged him off the van and threw him into a wheelchair that may have exacerbated his life-threatening injuries. The incident is currently under investigation and the officers on duty have been placed on administrative leave. His sister, LaQuavius LeGrant, said it's absolutely heartbreaking to go to that hospital room, the ICU, to look in his eyes. His eyes are awake, but can't do anything about it. Added, knowing that he would never walk again, possibly, it's disheartening. What happened is unacceptable and it's inexcusable. Now, the reason I share this with you in this report is because it appears to me to show how the police will act to someone they take a disliking to. Granted, Cox was arrested for illegal possession of a firearm, but the driver of the van seems to have braked hard in reaction to Cox's kicking, even though there's no evidence released of this fact, as in no dashcam footage that I'm aware of to show if a car pulled out in front of him. And then the simple fact the police at the station couldn't even be asked to consider the fact that there might be something very wrong, especially after he was found by the driver to have been on the floor of the van calling for help. There was a complete lack of care and zero shits were given for Richard Cox, who now it seems will have to live the rest of his life as a vegetable, thanks to police not even offering to give him basic care. In fact, they shouldn't even have touched him until the EMS arrived to check him over, which, with the way his head flopped about while being manhandled by police, likely caused further damage, which resulted in this paralysis. Again, I know the guy was arrested for breaking the law, but nobody deserves to die or be injured to any extent for breaking the law unless it's kiddie fiddling. Then they should be hung, drawn and quartered. But to me, being paralysed is far worse than death, and this all happened while Cox was supposedly in the care of the police. It's a very sad state of affairs when the police fail in their basic care, whether it be offering emergency medical assistance or even putting a seatbelt on.